Hey everyone, James here on the Crypto Swiss channel. Let's dive into today's big headline from CoinDesk. The first ever XRP ETF in the US is going live today. Yes, today, with the launch of Teucrium's leveraged fund. Now, if you're scratching your head and thinking, wait, what just happened? Wasn't the first XRP ETF expected sometime in late 2025? You're not alone. So what's the deal here? Honestly, this caught me off guard too. Let me break it down. Tired of fake gurus who claim to be expert traders but never trade live? I trade live on the second largest crypto exchange, where everything is transparent and results can't be faked. For over 440 days, I've consistently closed every month in profit. In the last 90 days alone, my followers have earned over $34,000 in profits with only 4% drawdown. Verified results, not empty claims. Want to see my verified stats? Click the first link in my profile and start copying my trades for free today. First off, let me say I'm excited about this. Why? Because it's another step in bridging traditional finance with crypto. It's a way to gain exposure to the market and invest in the XRP ecosystem through a financial tool that's familiar to Wall Street. That's a win in my book. But, and this is important, this isn't quite the groundbreaking XRP ETF we were all hoping for. Trust me, you'll see why in a moment. Before I dive deeper, let me get this out of the way. I am not a financial advisor. I have no financial certifications, and this isn't financial advice. Please don't make any buy or sell moves based on anything I say here. I'm just a crypto enthusiast who loves nerding out on these topics and sharing them with you for fun. Now, Crypto Basic also covered this story, and their take adds some extra context. Seriously, if you'd told me 24 hours ago that we'd see the world's first XRP ETF launching today, I'd have laughed. But here we are, in real life, witnessing it happen. Big news for crypto enthusiasts. Teucrium, a leading ETF issuer, is making waves by launching the first ever XRP exchange-traded fund, ETF, in the US. The Crypto Basic broke the story on its X account, revealing that the highly anticipated Teucrium 2x long daily XRP ETF will debut today on NYSE Arca under the ticker XXRP. This milestone follows NYSE Arca's approval of the ETF's listing and registration just yesterday, setting the stage for its big launch. According to the prospectus, the fund comes with a 1.89% management fee and is designed to deliver twice the daily performance of XRP. For example, if XRP gains 3% in a day, the ETF would rise by 6%. But beware, if XRP loses 2%, the ETF would drop by 4%. Double the reward also means double the risk. The way XXRP amplifies XRP's daily moves makes it a leveraged product, inherently offering higher stakes. It's a thrilling opportunity for those ready to embrace the volatility, but not without its downsides. Leverage can be a tool for bold traders, but it's not for everyone. Personally, I steer clear of leveraged products. They simply feel too much like gambling. And let's be honest, I'm no fan of casinos either. It's clear this ETF offers a high-risk, high-reward path for adventurous investors. For better or worse, it's a wild ride that some will find irresistible. As for me, I'll be watching from the sidelines. Now, let me be clear, I'm not against people enjoying themselves or diving into things they're passionate about. We're all adults, and everyone's into different stuff. But for me personally, nah. It's just not my vibe. And when it comes to investments, I steer clear of anything leveraged. No thanks. I don't want exposure to high-risk, high-reward schemes. My approach is simple. Hold solid assets and let them grow steadily over time. That's it. Sure, it's not as thrilling as chasing sky-high returns, but hey, if those even materialize, good for you. Anyway, back to what we're here to talk about. The ETF issuer is using multiple benchmarks to set XRP pricing for its swap agreements. They're pulling data from spot XRPE TFS, the CME CFX RP dollar real-time index, and the CME CFX RP dollar reference rate. Now here's a key point. XRP hasn't launched a spot ETF in the US yet, so the XXRP ETF will initially rely on XRPE TPS available in Europe, like the Wisdom Tree Physical XRP ETP and the 21 shares XRP ETP. Makes sense, right? But here's where things get disappointing for me, and I'll say this again. I'm all for people having access to these products if they want them. Like casinos. They're not for me, but they should exist for those who enjoy them. What bugs me is that this ETF isn't backed by XRP itself. Crypto Eddie pointed this out last night. You can see her post on the screen. She confirmed, the fund does not invest directly in XRP, and this is why a true spot, XRP ETF, would have been a big deal. If you're like me and prefer holding XRP directly, an XRP spot ETF still benefits you. Why? Because when people buy that kind of ETF, it's backed by actual XRP. That means the company running the ETF has to purchase XRP to cover demand, driving up XRP purchases overall. But that's not the case here. So when I saw that detail, my excitement fizzled out pretty fast. It's just less impactful. You know, the ecosystem is the key. Everything should be built around it. This concept isn't new. Traditional finance has been doing it with various assets for decades. So why not apply the same strategy here? It makes perfect sense. Now, let's talk about the big news, the XRP spot ETF, or rather, the lack of one in the US. Yes, the XRP spot ETF still hasn't landed, but what we do have is a different kind of XRP ETF, one of a unique variety. It's not the spot ETF we're all waiting for, but it's still a massive milestone. This is the world's first ever XRP ETF of this type, and it's a game changer. Eric Balchunas, Bloomberg's senior ETF analyst, has been all over this development. He's earned significant credibility in the crypto space, especially during the months leading up to the first Bitcoin spot ETF. His insights are trusted and even anticipated by many in the industry. Yesterday evening, Eric weighed in on this new development. Here's what he had to say. A 2x XRP ETF is launching tomorrow in the United States, the first ever XRP ETF in the market. Very unusual, and perhaps a first, for a new asset's debut ETF to be leveraged. Spot XRP is still not approved, but the odds are looking pretty high. He also shared a related article and made it clear that he believes approval for an XRP spot ETF is almost inevitable. And he's not alone. The sentiment across the industry is that this approval is a matter of when, not if. To me, it's obvious. The war on crypto is over and regulatory acceptance is finally here. There's no logical reason for these approvals to be stalled any longer. But let's be realistic. It's going to take some time. Insiders suggest we might see an XRP spot ETF approved by late 2025. Could it happen sooner? Sure, but by then, the odds are that the XRP bull run might already be in the rearview mirror. Timing is everything, and in this case, the clock is ticking. I still stand by this. When it comes to supply and demand dynamics, even if this thing launches and is a smashing success, it's only going to have a limited impact during the course of a bull run. Even if it were perfectly timed, I just don't see it moving the needle in a massive way. Honestly, XRP is likely to go on a face-melting rally all on its own, regardless. So, I just don't think this changes the game in the short term. Now zoom out a bit, over years or even decades, having an investment vehicle like this, one actually backed by XRP, a true spot XRP ETF, that's where it starts to matter. Over time, it will materially impact supply and demand, because way more XRP would get bought than if such a product didn't exist. So yes, long term, this kind of ETF absolutely matters. But here's the thing. I've never bought into the idea that we'll see some insane rocket-to-the-moon price action for XRP just because of this. At least not in the first cycle. It's just not realistic. Sure, maybe there's a small bump. What are we talking, a few cents? A dime? Let's not get carried away. And depending on when it launches, it might not even affect this bull run at all. People could get hyped about the news itself though, and that might light a spark during a period of market exuberance. Timing is everything, and for now, we're just not there yet. We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, this is good news, and I'm happy to share it. But here's the womp womp. This particular ETF isn't backed by XRP. That's a bit of a letdown, not gonna lie. On a personal level, I'm not as hyped about it as I would be if it were directly tied to XRP. I wanted to clear that up though, because I know lots of folks out there assumed it was backed by XRP, understandably so. A spot XRP ETF would be, but unfortunately, that's not the case with this one. Just to wrap up, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't buy or sell anything just because of what I say or write. It's not a smart move. Always do your own research. Seriously, make informed decisions, folks.